Welcome back to the program. So I want to do another look at the life of Vernon Jordan through the eyes of someone who knew him very well when he worked with the Clinton administration. His name is Mark Harris, attorney Mark Harris, also an economist. And Mark, thanks for joining us today. This is such a loss. So first, my condolences to the loss of someone that you knew personally and
Yeah.
someone who was able to help you. What do you remember about Vernon Jordan?
Sharing breakfast with him on a regular basis at the Park Hyatt Hotel on the West End in Washington, D.C. Let me say, Kelly, first of all, it's good to be back. I'm glad you're smiling. I'm smiling. I was hurt when I heard about Mr. Jordan. I was hurt because it was a loss. I was just telling my wife that I need to reach out to Terry Hatter. Terry Hatter is a federal court judge here in Los Angeles, who I worked for after law school. He's about the same age as Vernon Jordan. They're all in that era. And because I was Ron Brown's deputy chief of staff, and I knew Ron when he was with the Urban League, that's how I first met Mr. Jordan. I first met him through the Honorable Ron Brown as an urban leaguer. And man, did Vernon Jordan have an effect on my life.
When you say an effect on your life, I mean, you went on to become a civil rights attorney. You're a partner with Ben Crump and his law firm. Uh, I mean, gee, it seems like Vernon Jordan had a definitely effect on your life. But tell me more about how he operated. What like during those breakfast moments that you would have. What is it about him that sparked in you this ability to be a civil servant through your
Yes.
civil rights attorney firm?
Can I say this, Kelly? He was a G. He was a G. And by that, I mean, he did not kowtow to people. He did not bow down. He was a strong, dark-skinned, African-American leader, smart as he could be, never really lost his composure except when it was effective. You know what I mean? He would get angry. Now, unlike Ron Brown, who did not get, I never saw in all the time I knew Ron lose his temper. He would express his anger differently than the way I do and some other people do. But Vernon would get at you a little bit if he was upset with you. And what he did for me, Kelly, is he really took me off a path of seeking elective office for myself. I was on the path to be an elected official in California. And watching Vernon Jordan and Justice Richard Mays from Arkansas, Ernie Green from Little Rock Central High School, those were my mentors. Those were the wise counsel who put their arm around the young 36-year-old and say, calm down, you got a lot of living to do and you have a lot of service still in you. So maybe your path is to be an elected, maybe your path is to go back to California and be a true servant leader. And in fact, after those breakfasts, I came back to California, Kelly, and became a board member through 3 terms with the Sacramento Urban League, eventually becoming the board chair. That is directly because of Vernon Jordan's influence.
Wow. As we look back on the Vernon Jordan influence, what is his legacy, Mark, in your opinion?
He was the person who was whispering in President Clinton's ear. President Clinton privately would say that one of his best friends on the planet was Vernon Jordan. Vernon Jordan did not get the wide acclaim. Richard Mays was another. Richard came from Little Rock, became a Supreme Court justice. The first Black Supreme Court justice in Arkansas history is Richard Mays, who's now living in Washington, D.C. Ernie Green was tight with the president. So these 3 Black men were very close to the president, did not have to, compromise their integrity, did not have to compromise their Blackness, their strength. And it really showed me as a younger person what I wanted to be like, who I wanted to be like. Vernon Jordan eventually came on television and played himself, of all things, on The Good Wife. He just was the iconic inside player. He was the Clark Clifford of the Black race. Clark Clifford was advisor to presidents throughout 4 decades. Vernon Jordan was our own Clark Clifford. He was an amazing human being, and I really miss his spirit not being here on the planet.
Yeah, and like you said, he had the ear of President Bill Clinton, but then he was also sought after by other presidents. He went on to help President George W. Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. I mean, he had that kind of that president whisper, if you would, if you will. And what ways
Yeah,
did he help
yeah.
President Clinton through some of the most difficult times of his presidency?
You know, some quite honestly I'm familiar with and really can't talk about for obvious reasons. But
Oh, yeah.
I think it's important to say they go out on the golf course and talk the way that friends talk. I think the hardest thing for people to really appreciate is how lonely it is to be the president of the United States. I mean, everybody wants to be with you, but nobody really wants to be your friend. The friends you have are the people like Ernest Green and Vernon Jordan and Ron Brown, who became a close friend to Bill Clinton, and Richard Mays. Those were the people who the president could go out and play around the golf with. I'm talking about President Clinton, and they could receive his counsel. What made Vernon amazing to me, let's not forget all the things he accomplished when he was the head of the Urban League. I mean, he took over at a time when many people thought that no one could be the leader for the Urban League, that Vernon succeeded. And Ron Brown, of course, came through that era under Vernon Jordan. And it was just an amazing time for us as a people. Mark Morial does a great job as the current head of the Urban League, but Vernon Jordan was one of a kind in terms of what he was able to do to be an advocate for our people and still have great influence in the White House and throughout the world.
Well, again, my friend, I'm sorry for your loss, having known him personally like you did. And I know it will leave an absence in your heart, but yet I can see that your heart is filled with and overjoyed to have known him.
Yeah.
And I mean, you were hanging with some of the best, Vernon Jordan and Ron Brown.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
Mark, thanks for sharing this experience.